Hi there, welcome. Namaste. So let's get started in a seat. You might raise your hips, put a cushion or a pillow underneath your sitting bones, and from there, just sit for a second and notice what the body is doing. It might be kind of hard to sit at first, and that's okay. If you're anything like me, that's quite normal. In fact, let's rock forward and back and side to side a bit if the body feels like it wants to move. Just let it move a little bit. And then we'll find center. And let the sit bones sink into the mat or the cushion beneath you. Let them be nice and heavy. And let the legs be heavy. Notice where the body is connected to the earth. And see if you can surrender into those points a little bit more. And what does that surrender feel like? And once you feel nice and steady in the base, then let's create a little bit of space between each vertebrae. So growing nice and tall, but not forcing it, right? We don't want to exert too much force. We want to keep the body nice and fluid and still have that ease. So we have the steady, strong base, and we're growing tall from the sit bones to the crown of the head. Check in with the shoulders, see if they've decided to get involved. And if they have, kindly ask them to get uninvolved. Release them down the back. And check in with the jaw. See if you can release any tension in the jaw. You might release the tip of the tongue from the bottom or the roof of the mouth. Then bring the attention to the breath. As best you can, just watch the breath, no need to change it. If watching the breath isn't comfortable for you, then you can focus on another anchor, like the weight of the points of contact or sounds in the room. So whatever the anchor is, let's stick with that for a couple moments. If it's the breath, where do you feel the movement? Is there a space between the inhales and exhales? And if it's the sounds, how close are they? And perhaps we can watch them without assigning a name to them. Do we have to categorize them? Is that possible not to categorize the sound? Is it possible wherever you are, whatever you're watching, to be curious? Just a few more moments here. And then let's come back to the points of contact. Heavy through the hip bones. Go ahead, bring the palms out to the side, arms out to the side, palms face down. We'll inhale, lift the arms, gather, and exhale, hands come to heart center. And perhaps you think of an intention or why you're practicing. I know, especially right now, there can be a lot of fear, right? And is it possible to invite in some kindness or some loving kindness in place of that fear? I wonder. All right. Whatever the intention is, let's all see if we can stay totally present with the body, with the mind, with the breath throughout the rest of our practice. So go ahead, remove whatever you've been sitting on, place it off to the side, and then come down onto your mat, lay down, have the knees bent, feet planted. Bring the arms out to the side like a T. First, we're just gonna drop in, so let the hips be really heavy. And can the back melt into the mat? Next exhale, draw the knees over to the right, gaze can go left. The inhale takes you to center, and exhale to the other side. Keep following that flow, so the inhale brings the knees to point towards the ceiling, and follow the exhale to bring the knees over to the other side. Option for gaze to go opposite of the knees. And can you watch the feet? What are the sensations like in the feet? Rolling from one side to the other, one blade to the other. I'll do one more on each side, and then we'll meet with knees in the center. And once you get there, let's bring the arms. We'll have a couple different options. So the first option is we'll bring the knees right and lift the left arm overhead, stretching out through that palm. If that doesn't feel comfortable, bring the arm out to the side at a cactus position. And if both of those feel really good and you want to try bringing the arms overhead, maybe a little bit juicier, then you can try that. And then breathe into the side ribs. Let the side body expand. And what does it feel like when you direct the breath into the side of the body? Is it possible to breathe all the way from the hip to the armpit? Inhale, bring everything back to center. And then we'll bring the knees over to the right. And you can pick what you want to do with the right arm. So again, it's either cactus position, stretching the right arm up overhead, or both elbows overhead. Gaze is to the right. And perhaps you just scan down through the body here. What are all of the sensations? And can you hold all of those in your mind at once? Are there sensations that are a little bit quieter, not as loud, not as apparent? Let's inhale, bring everything back to center. And then we'll hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a big hug. And then just roll from side to side. So massaging the low back into the mat. Go nice and slow here. No rush. And then we'll come back to center. Cross one ankle over the other and rotate the knees in the same direction. And reverse the direction. Let's bend and straighten the knees. Kind of hold on behind the hamstrings. And then have a gentle bend in the knees, and we're going to rotate the ankles. Doesn't matter which direction you start, it's just going to rotate. And the circles can be as big or as little as you like. And reverse the direction. All right, and then let's flare the toes out. So like you're spreading all of the toes away from each other, and then scrunch them together. And then you'll inhale and extend them out. And then exhale, scrunch them together. Stick with that for a little bit. As you inhale, extending them away from the heels, like the sole of the foot could grow bigger. And then exhale as if you could curl the foot into a ball, make a fist with the foot. Yeah, the feet are kind of the base of everything we do. They're the foundation. Okay. And shake that out. All right. Now let's bring the arms out to a T. And on an inhale, let's bring the right thumb up. So the palm is facing up on the right thumb, on the right hand, and the palm is facing down on the left hand. And then you're gonna go the other way. So it's like you're wringing out the hands, right? So you stay laying down. I'm just gonna come up to show you. So we have one palm facing down while the other's facing up, and then we rotate. And see if you can extend it more than that, right? Like you might come up onto the thumb side or the pinky side. Just wringing out the shoulders, wringing out the arms. And again, you're still laying down, I'm just up to show you. Nice and slow. And noticing where the sensation is. What do the tips of the fingers feel like? The palms, the wrists, the front and the back of the lower arm, all the way up the upper arm to the shoulders. All right, let that go. And then as you're ready, raise one arm overhead and roll onto your side. Take a pause there. Let the body sink. And then slowly push yourself up. We're going to come into hands and knees. So you've got your shoulders over your wrists, your knees underneath your hips. And then on an inhale, let's tilt the tailbone up. Let the back fall so the belly is coming down. And then let the chest come down and lift the chin. And then we'll go the other way. So we're going to tuck the tailbone. Round through the lower back. Then round through the upper back and finally let the chin come towards the chest, head drops. Then let's go the other way. So it's like there's 4 parts. You tilt the tailbone, you've got the lower back, upper back, and the chin. So keep going, follow that at your own pace, and if the 4 parts doesn't work for you, then you can just do your normal cat and cows. But this is what we call articulating the spine. And we do it because a lot of times when we do back bends and forward bends, we bend at one part of the spine. There's this little group of vertebrae that get all the attention. So we do this to try to spread the attention out. And it might mean that the back bend and forward bend in the cat and cow isn't as deep, and that's okay. Instead of this really big angle in the bends, maybe think a little bit more about lengthening from the top of the head to the tail. Okay, and then let's freestyle a little bit. So you might rock from side to side, maybe take a couple barrel rolls, rolling the spine. You're at home, so you can be goofy. Okay. All right. And then what I want us to do next, and you might, depending on what surface you're on, you might want to get a blanket for this to put under your knees if you've got some knee sensitivity. But we're going to bring one foot forward. So we've got the back leg planted. Let's say we bring the left leg forward. We've got the right knee planted and the left foot in front. And first we're just going to breathe into this. Yeah, so building strong from the base. Planting the left foot into the mat, pressing through the top of the right foot, and hugging the hips together. Bringing the hips towards each other. And you can stay here if you like. You might rise up, bringing the hands to the left thigh. Notice the breath. Go searching for sensation. So starting at the base, what do the feet feel like? What's the knee like? Legs, hips. Up the spine and through the crown of the head. All right, and then if your hands are up, let's bring the hands down to the ground. If you've got blocks or some height that you can give your hands, go for it. And then let's bring the hips over the seat. So towards the heels, you're extending, straightening the left leg. And then we'll inhale, bend through the left knee, rock forward. And exhale to rock back. So we'll keep flowing with that for a little while. Nice and slow. And it'll be tempting here to make the breath match the movement, but see if you can make the movement match the breath. So the breath is the leader, and the breath tells us when to move. So if you're not moving at the exact same time that I am, that's probably good. So that probably means you're following your own breath, not mine. Let's say 2 more. Then plant the hands, step the left foot back to meet the right, and then bring the right foot forward, planting the left knee. Again, we'll pause here. You might come up onto the fingertips, pushing down through the right foot and the top of the left. Hug the hips together. And then you might draw the navel to the spine, and extend up, bringing the hands to the knees. And notice the thoughts here. Can we listen to what the mind has to say without getting caught up in the story of it all? If the shoulders are rising, let them fall. If the jaw is clenched, perhaps you smile a little bit. Just bringing the corners of the mouth up. Brilliant. Then bring the hands back down, and we'll do that flow again. So the inhale brings you forward, and the exhale is when you rock back. Inhale forward, and exhale back. Keep going again at your own pace. And it doesn't matter how deep you go, just looking for a little sensation. Watching the thoughts as they creep in, knowing that that's normal. And we're not here to stop the thoughts, but just to notice them from a different perspective, yeah? We'll call this next round the last round. Taking your time, finishing up nice and gentle. All right, tuck the left toes, lift the hips, and bring the foot back to meet the left. And then let's come down and let's lay on our backs again. So the feet are planted, the knees are bent, and the hands are down by the hips. And on an inhale, we'll push through the feet, lift the hips. Chin goes towards the ceiling as the chest comes toward the chin. And I exhale, slowly crawl the spine down. And again, we'll lift the hips on an inhale. And exhale, let the spine come down one vertebrae at a time. So as always, follow your own breath. And as you're doing these, make sure that the shoulders are bearing the weight, not the neck. And we do that by making sure that the chin doesn't go towards the chest, but the chin is kind of going up and back a little bit. Maybe even look up at the ceiling. We'll do this for about another minute or two, but if you need to stop, if that would be the kind thing to do to your body, then take a moment to pause. And if you're like, I have just had it, then you can rest too. It's really beneficial to lay in that constructive pose. So again, noticing the thoughts, watching them like clouds going by. if it's helpful, you might even say, oh yeah, to yourself, oh yeah, that's thinking, or that's more of a feeling, more of a sensation that's distracted me. Alright, next time the hips come down, let's leave them there. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. We're going to rock and roll up and down the spine, if that's comfortable. And then eventually we'll find our way up. And I'm just twisting around so you can see me better. And let's bring the legs out. In fact, you know what, let's bring the feet out in front of us. The knees are bent considerably. And then we'll bring the torso, bring the belly towards the thighs. And you can stay here. The only rule in this one is that we keep the belly glued to the thighs. So we'll breathe here. Seeing about sending the breath to the backside. What would it feel like to breathe into the low back? And if you'd like to, you can walk the feet out a little bit more, but only if the belly stays glued to the feet, or to the thighs. If you can glue your belly to the feet, let me know. You can soften through the shoulders and head. We'll be here a little while longer, so you've always got the option to come out earlier if that would be better for you. Again, asking what would be kind to my body, what would be kind to do for myself. Is this ego that's asking me to do this pose, or is it benefiting me? Is it nourishing? Is it kind? Is this action coming from a place of love? And then slowly we'll all come up to walking the hands back to meet the hips. And then let's just come to Dandasana, so staff pose. And push out through the feet. So the knees are about straight, but there's probably a little bend in them. And if that's not comfortable, then bend the knees a little bit more. Just make sure you've got a straight back. So like we did at the start, let's be nice and heavy through the hips, through the sit bones, and then gently we'll create some space between the vertebrae and growing tall through the crown of the head. But that growing tall doesn't come at the expense of more tension, right? We're not compromising ease for length. Okay. And then let's come into that wide-legged stance. So the knees are wide. And first we'll come into that staff pose here. So can we sit up tall? And this might be it. This might be the kindest thing to do, is just to sit here, hands at the hips, heavy pelvis, long spine. And you might start to fold forward a bit. And perhaps you bend the knees, however much. Yeah, you might fold forward. You might not. And recognizing if it's the ego, the grasping, the striving, the wanting, the need to achieve that's driving any of this. And if it is, we might back off a bit, yeah? Otherwise, breathing into the inseam of the legs. So from the arch of the foot all the way up the inner calf and inner thigh. Noticing where else can I invite ease in this posture. Is there holding taking place that doesn't need to happen? And what does it feel like to soften the holding? Soften the grasping. And slowly let's walk ourselves back up. Draw the right knee in towards the left. Punch out through the left arch of the foot, yeah, so the inside of the foot. And then we're going to turn actually to face this way. So turn towards the right a bit. Grow tall through the spine. And then we're going to walk the left arm down the inseam of the left leg. And if we feel any pinching here, we're going to ease out of it. Thinking about the heaviness, especially through the right hip. You might use your right hand to help ground the right hip. And you might explore bringing the right arm overhead. Inviting a sense of length through the right side body. And then let's inhale, we'll come back up. And then extend the right leg, bring the left knee in. And again, we'll twist towards the left knee, nice and heavy through the sit bones. Grow tall through the spine. And then gently, we might bring the right hand along the right side, or the right leg. And we're grounding through the left hip. And we might lift the left arm up overhead. And if we do that, really anywhere, asking, is this the striving? Am I striving for something? And can I create a little ease around the striving? Let's use an inhale to come up. And then bring the legs out straight in front of you. And bring the right knee in towards the chest. Bring the right hand behind you like a kickstand. And then inhale, grow tall with the left. Exhale, come into the twist. You might hug or you might use the elbow as a little lever. Length with the inhale. Softening with the exhale. Inhale to unwind. Straighten the right knee and draw the left foot in towards the sit bones. And create the kickstand with the left hand. Grow tall with the right. And then come into the twist. Again, you can either hug or you can use the lever. watching the breath. And can we watch the thoughts? Can we observe the thoughts with a sense of curiosity? And perhaps that means that we are a little detached from the thoughts, yeah? Like there's another part of the brain that's watching the thoughts. Some people call it big brain, little brain. Some people call it ego and true self. You can just think of it as an observer. The part of you that can observe yourself. Can that part be curious? Let's unwind. Go ahead and come down now to laying on your back. I'm going to stay up so that I don't fall asleep on you. But we're going to come into Shavasana, so that's just laying down flat and comfortable. So you might put a little cushion under your knees. Just let yourself be held by the mat, held by this earth. And then if you were breathing in any special way, you can let go of the breath and just let the body breathe naturally. You might visualize the body being filled with this warm, bright, white, golden light. It might start at the heart and grow outwards. Almost like what it feels like to be in the sun for the first time in the spring. Refreshing, warm, softening. Just visualize that light, that warmth growing from the heart center through the rest of the body. Slowly bring the observer back to the room around you, noticing sounds, smells, sensation. Noticing breath. And then take your time and slowly wake up the body. So you might wiggle fingers and toes. Rock the head from side to side. Take a big stretch. And then lift one arm overhead and roll over onto that side. Pause there. And sending yourself some gratitude, some kindness and love for practicing. And then go ahead, push yourself up to a comfortable seat. I'm going to do one short exercise before closing. So once you get there, set yourself up in a way that's comfortable. We'll just be here for another couple minutes. And you might close your eyes or you might bring your gaze down. Just soften the horizon line of the eyes. And then bring to mind someone who is easy to love. That someone might have fur and they might have 4 legs. And that's okay. Visualize that person right in front of you, just as if they're there. And say to them, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you be loved. And then let that image go and bring to mind someone who's kind of neutral, yeah? Perhaps a coworker you don't work with very often, or someone who checks you out at the grocery store, the mailman or woman, whoever it is. Bring someone who you don't have really strong feelings about right in front of you. And now say to them, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you be loved. Let them go and now bring to mind someone who's a little more challenging to love. Not the 300-pound elephant or gorilla, but someone who's a little challenging. Now send them thoughts of, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you be loved. Just hold them there. Before letting them go. Now I'd like you to bring the image of yourself. So if you had a mirror right in front of you, but it's really you, really sitting there right in front of yourself right now. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you be loved. Let's bring the palms together on top of the heart. Palms stacked one on top of the other. And come back to that visualization of the warm, bright bright light, that clarity. Softening the space around the heart. You can release the palms. Bring the awareness back to the sit bones. Nice and heavy. Notice the sensation in the legs and the feet. Need to change, just curious. Nice and curious. Bring the arms out to the side, palms face down. Inhale, we lift and flip the palms. Exhale, we bring everything down, right to the heart. And thank you so much. I hope you're taking care of yourselves and that you're doing well. I miss meeting with you all every day, every week. But I hope that you're well. And I hope that you're able to be kind and loving towards yourselves and those around you. Let's bring the hands to the forehead. And we bow down, sealing the practice. May our practice be of benefit to all beings everywhere, so that all may be happy and free, joyful and free. Thank you.